What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to all of the YouTube subscribers. It's RFG. I'm back at it today, and I'm here to completely, utterly break down the situation that transpired between the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion situation. The trial and the verdict was a very controversial verdict. All right, and this situation started July of 2020, over 2 years ago. um I said on my Patreon 2 years ago that this whole thing was a staged psyop. All right. You guys, you can check my fucking Patreon right now. The link is in the description, and go back 2 years ago on the Patreon, July of 2020. I posted about this case, and I said clearly that it is a staged hoax. It's a staged psyop to promote division between American black women and American black men. I said 2 years ago on my Patreon that this whole thing was a staged hoax to promote division between black men and black women. I said this 2 years ago on the Patreon. All right. You guys can go back and look at the video and check the date for the reference. My work speaks for itself. So now I'm going to let this information go public to the world. All right. So initially, when this trial was going on, most of the masses um, were sucked back into their mundane emotions, and most of the men in the United States, they wanted to side with Tory Lanez. Most of the women in the United States wanted to side with Megan Thee Stallion. You see, that's natural human emotion or natural human pride. We're going to defend and take up for the people that we can relate to. We're going to defend and take up for the people that we think we can relate to. You see what I'm saying? But little did those people realize that everything you see in the mainstream media, shit, going back to the goddamn 90s. I'll say like maybe anywhere from the mid to late 90s to now, everything you've seen on TV is either a hoax or it is being used to push an alternative agenda, or an ulterior agenda. So I'm gonna say that again. Everything that has been aired on mainstream television from the mid 90s to now, all right, is completely fabricated uh hoaxes, or just flat out things that are being used as psyops. All right. So let's break this down step by step why this is completely fake. All right. Now, it was said uh July, mid-July of 2020, that this rapper known as Tory Lanez was driving, or he wasn't driving, he was in the back seat of a vehicle with Megan Thee Stallion in the car. There was also Kelsey Kardashian was in the car. They also had a driver, and then there was another woman in the car. So if I'm not mistaken, right, it was Tory, Megan, Kelsey, that's three. Um, Another one of her friends, that's four. And then there was a driver, that's five. So there was a grand total of, at least, this is the minimum. I'm not even sure if this is 100% factual, but this is the minimum amount of people in the car. A minimum of five people in the car, right? They say that I believe her name was Kylie. Kylie and Megan get into an argument um, because I believe Megan found out that Tory Lanez had sexual relations with Kylie as well, and that caused Megan and Tory Lanez. I mean, that caused Megan and Kylie to get into a heated altercation, verbal altercation, which eventually got physical. And, you know, for some odd reason, Tory Lanez decides to pull a weapon out, or somebody was positioned their body on top of Tory to make him uncomfortable, and maybe the gun slid out his pockets that way. You see what I'm saying? You know, we don't know. What all they're saying is that Tory Lanez pulled out a pistol and shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. All right. Now, there are plenty of holes in this story. All right. Because if we look at it from a purely mental, emotional standpoint, if we look at this situation from a purely mental, emotional standpoint, if every man can agree with me, every straight heterosexual man can agree with me when I make this statement. After you get done having sex with a woman or two women, I would say that shooting those women would be the last thing on your mind. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Unless you're on some kind of fucking bath salt, some methamphetamine, some kind of methamphetamine bath salt shit, some goddamn zombie drug. The last emotion in our brains after we get done having sex with women is shooting the same woman that we had sex with. You see what I'm saying? So that off the top of the head, right? When you first hear that, oh, he was having sexual relations with these women within a 24-hour span of them fighting with each other and him shooting Megan, that doesn't even make any fucking logical sense. That doesn't make any fucking logical sense. And most heterosexual men are extremely logical thinkers. You see what I'm saying? On top of that, it was stated by the investigation, the investigators, that there was no DNA from Tory Lanez found on the weapon. Now, this, in my opinion, proves that this whole scenario is a lie. It's staged and it's a hoax. If you're in a car, right, and you have a gun in your waist, the gun has to have your fucking DNA on it. Folks, you need to think you got to think very clearly about this. You got to think very fucking clearly about this. The gun, if you have possession of the gun and you put the gun in your pocket or in your waist, 9 times out of 10, you didn't have fucking gloves on when you did that. So his DNA would have had to have been on the fucking firearm. You see what I'm saying? You have to initially put the goddamn bullets in the clip, and you have to load the clip in, you have to load the fucking magazine into the fucking pistol, right? Make sure it's on safety. And you have to put it in your fucking pocket or your waist or a holster. You see what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, if Tory did that to initially put the weapon on him, something of his DNA has to be on the fucking weapon. That whole notion of, oh yeah, it was, the gun was owned by Tory, see, for this amount of time, for this amount of months or this amount of years, but there's no DNA on it, and he loaded it, he put it in his pocket, he put it in a fucking in a holster, he put it in his waist, but there's no sweat, there's no sweat on the pistol with his DNA, there's no hair follicles or saliva follicles, nothing, no drops of saliva, no hair follicles, nothing on the pistol of his. I'm not buying that. That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. All right. Another thing that doesn't make any sense is how in the hell, and this is in the dark, all right? This took place in the dark in a very low lit area, neighborhood. Megan supposedly got out of the car and was walking away from the car. And then she said that Tory Lanez stated, dance, bitch, dance, and started shooting at her feet. Now, how could this man fire multiple shots, all right, out of the same gun, all right? This is the same gun that he loaded by himself, and you know what I'm saying? Put the clip into the pistol. How is it that there's no DNA on the gun? That's impossible. That's impossible. And then on top of that, I believe there was either one or two witnesses. There were either one or two witnesses that got on the stand and said that Tory never fired any shots at Megan. So there was one witness who said Tory Lanez did shoot. There was two witnesses that said Tory Lanez did not shoot. And then on top of that, from what the investigator stated, his DNA is not on the weapon. Now, I'm here to tell you guys, all right, anybody who studied forensics and who understands that when you put your fingers around a pistol and fire, your sweat, the residue from your sweat, tiny hair follicles are going to be all over the pistol. You see what I'm saying? Even if you try to wipe it clean with your shirt, they can find fucking residue that came off of your shirt onto the fucking gun. So when we take all of this information in, we realize by the investigation team stating that they found no Tory Lanez DNA, they found none of his DNA on the weapon. That has to be a lie, right? Because once again, if he held the weapon, like Megan Thee Stallion is saying, like the prosecution team is stating, where's the DNA? And see, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit to begin with, because he would have never been able to load the pistol and put it in his put it in his waist, his pocket, or a holster without his DNA, without some of his DNA being on the fucking pistol. You understand? It was his fucking pistol. So I'm sorry, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. This is all staged. This is all contrived. This is all fabricated. This is propaganda, all right, being promoted by two Freemasonic puppets. Two Freemasonic puppets, all right? This individual right here is going to lead, she's going to lead most women in Western society to reach the ages of about 40 and 50 years old, right? And, these women can possibly make a lot of money on OnlyFans and doing porn on the side and selling their bodies online. But when those women reach the ages of 40 and 50 and they have no children, right? There's no children, and then there's no man that wants to give them any children. They're gonna stop for a second and realize and say, wait a second. No man wants to commit to me. I'm not going to be able to leave any legacy behind because, nobody wants to impregnate me. And even if I go to the sperm bank and impregnate myself, soon as the child finds out what I did for a living or what I do for a living, the fucking child's not going to respect me either. You see what I'm saying? So Megan Thee Stallion what she has done is she has helped destroy the family, the human family unit in the Western civilization, and she has helped millions of women, millions and millions of women that are going to leave behind no legacies for a family to pick up, and millions of women that are not going to leave this world with loving children and a loving companion. you know she's basically leading tens of millions of women to leave behind no legacy, to own no real resources. Because that's right, all the money that most of these chicks are making on OnlyFans, most of them don't know how to invest. Most of them don't even realize what real tangible resources are. Most of them are spending the money on makeup, weave, fake nails, BBLs, plastic surgery, Botox, fancy trips, to different locations, houses and cars that they can't really afford. Shit like that, shoes, clothes, jewelry, shit like that. You know, that's why most of them are not really taken seriously by any multi-billion-dollar corporations as far as endorsements. The female rappers who promote thought culture, the multi-billion-dollar corporations don't even take them seriously because those corporations see that the people who take on that ideology are extremely immature when it comes to the financial world. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Rihanna, they've convinced millions of women to just live their lives, get money, and not have any children, and leave behind no legacy. And that's that. And when I say leave behind a legacy, you got to understand, a legacy is more than money. A legacy is more than money. What did you do on this earth that impacted the earth and humanity in a positive fashion? What did you do with your time on earth that impacted the earth or humanity in a positive light? You see what I'm saying? What was unique about you? What stood out about you from everybody else? When we look at most of the women who follow thought culture, they're all just alike. They're all just alike. Extremely masculine, pounds and pounds of makeup on the face, another races of woman's hair on your head, BBLs, tattoos all over your body, extremely, extremely long nails, which is very unsanitary, and a very, overly aggressive, masculine, narcissistic, sociopathic attitude. You see what I'm saying? So most of them look the same, act the same, and have the same ideologies and the same, value system. Nothing, if we're looking at things on a global scale, nothing is special about thought culture. There's nothing special about it. You're just going to, most of the women are just going to increase their chances of catching an STD or having an unwanted child. And like I said, when that child gets older and when it reaches its early to mid 20s, it's going to find out, what its parents were really about, what they were really about, regardless of the lies that the parent told the child throughout their childhood and their teenage years. You see, children usually wake up in their later teenage years and their early adult years. You see, and it's sad. It's really sad. But this woman right here is no one to be defended. She is no one to be idolized. She is no one to be respected. She is no one to be defended by any means. All right. So like I said, I'm not taking sides in this situation. because I don't see, you see what I'm saying, what's so special about Tory Lanez either. Now, Tory Lanez, you can say, oh, he's a great rapper. He's very talented. He has very good punchlines and very good metaphors. We like his flow. We like, the things he puts together in his music videos. But let's look at Tory Lanez in a nutshell here, shall we? Let's look at Mr. Tory Lanez in a nutshell here. Before he bought his masters, he was signed to Interscope Records, all right, Mad Love Records, all right, through Interscope Records. So Tory Lanez had to go through Interscope Records to sign with Mad Love Records. Okay, so Interscope owns Mad Love Records, which means Tory Lanez really was signed with Interscope before he went independent. Now, we all know, and everybody who's been following my work, all right, they know you cannot sign with a major record label deal unless you go through with a ritual sacrifice, with a shaming ritual, or a homosexual ritual. So that, once again, you cannot sign a major record deal unless you undergo a ritual sacrifice, a homosexual ritual, or a shaming ritual. So in 2020, Tory Lanez decided to pay for his masters back from Interscope Records. He paid Interscope to get all of his, to own all of his masters, all right, to all of his intellectual property, all right, and his music. So what I'm telling you guys is, the only reason Interscope Records allowed Tory Lanez to do this is because Tory Lanez agreed to carry out the shaming ritual. Tory Lanez was allowed by Interscope Records, all right, to buy his masters back because he went through with the shaming ritual. This is a free Masonic shaming ritual. All right? All right? You cannot get on without doing homosexual rituals, satanic ritual sacrifices, and shaming rituals. This is Tory Lanez's shaming ritual, which allows him to get his masters back, to own his masters, all right, and maintain his fortune and his fame. You see, and for him to get out scot-free when he only does a year in the penitentiary. Now, that's another thing. If Tory Lanez doesn't do more than a year for this, that is cold hard proof that this was nothing but a fucking bullshit Freemasonic shaming ritual. And this is what he was ordered to do, all right, by the same people he bought his masters back from. You guys better wake the fuck up. You guys better wake the fuck up and learn how this shit really operates. You better learn how the Freemasons who run the music industry and the movie industry, you better understand how this shit really operates. Okay? Plain and simple. What is Tory Lanez's label called? It's called One Umbrella. All right? His label is called One Umbrella. Why is that significant? Oh, that sounds familiar. Like Rihanna's song called Umbrella, or her album. Rihanna's album in 2007 called Umbrella, right? Umbrella. This was a song that came out in 2007. The album was called Good Girl Gone Bad. All right. Remember, Rihanna, this is her most popular song. All right, that as far as the billboards, back in 2007. All right, Rihanna with the umbrella. What happened with Rihanna two years after the fucking Umbrella song? Oh, the beatdown. Oh, the Chris Brown beatdown. The Chris Brown beatdown, right? The Chris Brown beatdown happened 2 years after the umbrella. The umbrella, and right here you have Tory Lanez, right? His record label that he was allowed to have is called One Umbrella. It's called One Umbrella, right? And he gets into the altercation with Megan Thee Stallion, supposedly. You see, only a few months after, or I want to say 6 months after, he buys the rights to his music back. All right. 6 months after he buys the rights to his music back, he gets into this altercation with Megan Thee Stallion, and this is nothing but a Freemasonic ritual. All right. So he would be cleared. He would be cleared to go to own his masters. All right. And see, what's going to prove this is if Tory Lanez doesn't do more than a year in jail or prison. If he doesn't do more than a year, this whole shebang is a hoax. All right. If he doesn't do more than a year, this whole situation is a hoax. All right. And what they want is they want division, 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 division. Black, white, rich, poor. Man and woman. Old generation, young generation. Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. See what I'm saying? Oh, I'm from the West Coast. I'm from the East Coast. Oh, I'm from down south. You see what I'm saying? Division, 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 division. That is the number one free Masonic code to maintaining control over the masses. All right. Now let me break down how deep this umbrella shit goes, man. I gotta break down how deep this umbrella shit goes. So we know that Rihanna came out with the umbrella, right? The umbrella song in 2007. 2 years later, she got into the staged situation with Chris Brown. All right, this is a Freemasonic shaming ritual. All right, what happened afterwards? You see, her career, both of their careers continued to succeed. So we look. I want to, yeah, 11. No. 2009 to 20. Yeah, 11 years later. 11 years after this, 11 years after that, all right, you have the Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion situation. And this guy made his record label the One Umbrella. All right, now the umbrella, the origins right here, all right, invented over 4,000 years ago. Civilizations like Egypt, Assyria, Greece, and China. But I'm here to tell you the creators of the umbrella, they were calcified. The creators of the umbrella, they were calcified. They were calcified beings. They could receive no energy from the sunlight. They could receive no energy from the sunlight. They were inorganic beings. They were low vibrational, calcified, inorganic beings because the initial creation for the umbrella was to block sunlight, shade from the sun. See, used in early civilizations. All right. They were initially employed as parasols to provide shade from the sun, from the sun, from the sun, shade from the sun, not from goddamn rain. Initially, the first umbrellas were made not to block your fucking head from the rain. No, they were used to block the goddamn calcified beings from the sun, from the goddamn sun, the life giver, the life giver. See? The umbrella, it blocks the human body and the human brain from the life giver, which is the sun. You see, and it was initially created for the goddamn calcified beings. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And this is why when you look at a fucking umbrella, it looks like bat wings. If you really look at how an umbrella looks, it looks like fucking bat wings, man. You know what I'm saying? And like it's weird. It's very weird. Even as a child, I umbrellas always fucking creep me out, man. You know, the way that they opened up and just how morbid, how morbid they looked. I never liked it, but now I can put the pieces of the puzzle together. You see, they look like bat wings because these motherfucking umbrellas were created by the original vampires, the original so-called children of Cain. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Certain people call them draconian reptilians. You know what I'm saying? Certain people call them you know, a specific group of Khazars. You know, some people call them the blue bloods. All right, these are your fucking creators of the goddamn umbrella. Right, all right, and even in the video game and the movie Resident Evil, in the video game and the movie Resident Evil, they had the Umbrella Corporation. Remember, in the movie Resident Evil, they had the Umbrella Corporation. The Umbrella Corporation was behind all of the goddamn chaos and corruption in that society. The Umbrella Corporation was behind most of the goddamn chaos and corruption in the society, all right, in this movie. They were called the Umbrella Corporation. Yeah, shield the people off, all right, from what's going to turn them into gods. Shield the people off from the frequency that's going to turn them into gods, and we're going to maintain our secrecy, and we're going to maintain our order in secrecy. The fucking Umbrella Corporation. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You guys better wake up, man. You guys better wake up and understand how deep this shit goes, man. Understand how deep this shit goes. Now, we're also not going to act like Tory Lanez didn't earn his millions of dollars through the same fuckery that most of the rappers earned their fortune and fame off of. Tory Lanez acquired his millions in fame off of promoting sex, drugs, violence, and the white man's dollar. He got his fortune and fame off of promoting sex, drugs, violence, and worshiping the white man's dollar. Okay? So in a way, I can make a case that Tory Lanez fucking exploited the black community in the United States. First and foremost, Tory Lanez was never from no real hood. All right. Now he can talk all that shit about his mom passing away before it was a regular time for her to pass away. He can talk about her passing away at a young age. All right. But let's look at it from the big perspective here. Vancouver or Toronto, you see what I'm saying? There's no hood in Toronto that can measure up to half of what goes on in the hoods of the United States. There's no fucking hood in Toronto that can measure up to half of the shit that goes on in the hoods of the United States. All right? All right? So you see what I'm saying? This whole AK-47 Tupac tattoo, this motherfucker brandishing pistols and straps in his videos and talking all this gangster shit, and miss me with that. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got to miss me with that. All right? Because like I said, there ain't nothing in Toronto that can live up to half of what goes on in the US. All right? So when you really think about that, when you think about that long and hard, you see that Tory Lanez actually got rich off of exploiting the fucking the Black American community. All right, plain and simple. And like I said, I'm not taking anything away from him as an artist. You know, with the punchlines and the flow, and you know the catchy beats, and the music videos. You know, it is what it is. All I'm saying is he doesn't rap about anything different than any other fucking rapper. You see what I'm saying? He promotes chaos. He promotes chaos and destruction, just like the rest of them, man. Just like the rest of them. So, you know what I'm saying? Why are all these men out here mad that this motherfucker's getting put behind bars? What has Tory Lanez done for the so-called black community? What pieces of knowledge or resources has Tory Lanez put into the community that he fucking exploited? And you see what I'm saying? That he exploited to get his fucking millions. What resources or knowledge has he put into the fucking community to uplift the same black community that he fucking exploited? Y'all gotta wake up. Y'all don't see the fucking hypocrisy? Y'all don't see the fucking hypocrisy that's going on here? You don't see how blind people are? You don't see the idol, the fanboy culture, and the idol worship? Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. But like I said, I'm not taking no sides because I know, you know, you can never get in circles like this unless you took the Freemasonic oath. You can never get in circles like this unless you take that Freemasonic oath. You can never sign deals like this unless you take the Freemasonic oath, and you can never buy your rights back from one of these labels unless you undergo their shaming ritual or their ritual sacrifice. And this right here was Tory Lanez's shaming ritual right here. Like I said, if he doesn't do more than a year, that will be cold hard proof that this whole thing was a staged joke. A staged joke. All right? And that's really all I got to say on the topic. You know, the media, anything put in the media is not going to be in human benefit. At this point in the world right now, you got to be a goddamn fool to be watching cable television. You got to be a goddamn fool to be owning a cable box at this point in time right now. Because everything being pushed is either a hoax or to push one of their demonic agendas. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. Like I said, both of these individuals are leading people astray. In my opinion, he's leading men astray by promoting, you see what I'm saying? The only things that matter in life are sex, the white man's dollar, and gun violence. You see what I'm saying? And drugs. You see, that's really all. I don't give a fuck about how good his punchlines are and how good his flow is. I don't give a shit. It's all about the message. And his message is leading men down the tubes, and her message is leading women down the tubes. I don't give a fuck about either of these frauds. Plain and simple. Plain and goddamn simple. And you know, everybody who fell for this garbage, you know what I'm saying? The joke is on you. The joke is on you. All right? I broke this shit down step by step. You guys better wake up and detach, detox, and deprogram. Detach, detox, and deprogram. That's all I had to say on this topic. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Shout out to all of the Patreons out there. I would not be able to do what I do on a consistent basis if it wasn't for everyone who has supported the RFG movement. The RFG podcast will be up and running by January 3rd. The RFG podcast will be up and running by January 3rd. All right. I'm going to see if I can put those downloads on Spotify for people to purchase. So be on the lookout for that. So that's all I had to say on this topic. Please stay safe out there. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe. It's the chosen one. I'm out.